We are back.
Hey.
I hope you missed us. If not, hopefully we give you a reason to miss us today. We're coming to you live from the den, and it is seriously entertaining. But of course, you know you are tuned in to We Are Royalty. And see, you got to understand, when we say that we are royalty, we're not excluding you. That includes you. We just want you to understand that just like we are royalty, so are you. And hopefully, as we continue to tell you and let you know that you are royalty, that you come from greatness, greatness is within you. Hopefully you hear it so much that you eventually begin to believe it yourself, and you can adopt and say to yourself that you are royalty, just like we know that we are royalty. And of course, you know you're tuned in to the one and only Mr.
and Mrs.
Smith coming to you live. And we got a good one for you today. You know, we really want you to understand the power in keeping more of your hard-earned money. You see, and as it relates to you keeping more of your hard-earned money, you just got to understand that it's certain things, certain rules, certain laws, certain facts in place that allow you to do so. I like to say that the government actually is in position or in favor of you succeeding, of you having success. You just got to understand the fine print. They may not make it as clear cut and dry for you to understand, but if you really understand what's going on and how you can benefit from the laws that are already in place, you'll take a step back and realize, hold on, the government actually has some things in place to allow me to succeed, allow me to build wealth, and it's all centered around one thing that we love to talk about, and it's dealing with the taxes. So we're dealing with things that show you how to keep more of your money, and in our actuality it helps you build wealth. Queen, you got something for them?
Yes, most definitely. So you guys, you know what time of the year it is. It's tax season. Yes. So of course, you know, you hear over and over people talking about the whole refunds, and you know, you hear people saying, I wish I would have got a refund, you know, I hate this time of the year. You hear a lot of different reactions as it pertains to taxes. So I figured this one would be right on time, because we are teaching you pretty much ways throughout the year to save on taxes, okay, to minimize your taxes legally, okay? Yes. Everything we do is legal, okay? So we're going to teach you how to legally, ethically, and morally minimize your taxes throughout the year, okay? So that you can be winning big all year long. It doesn't matter if you get a refund at the end of the year. For a lot of people, we have to understand refund means you overpaid in taxes, okay, all year long. So as you hop on, you guys, let us know where you are tuning in from, okay? Let us know. Give us your state so that we can see how far this video is reaching, and we greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And send those thumbs and hearts across the screen. Invite, text message, share into different groups, just to kind of let them know what you're tuned into. And those are the type of people you want to be circling yourself with, people who are tuned in to good, positive, uplifting, knowledge-based information, because as they grow mentally, you grow mentally, your circle grows, and everybody grows together. So we definitely don't want to waste your time. We love when you tune in, because we understand that your time is the most precious asset that you have. So the fact that you chose to press play and hear what it is that we had to say, we greatly appreciate you, and we do not take that lightly. So we're going to give you some jewels, some value, and it's going to be centered around how the government favors certain things that allow you to put more money into your pocket. Take advantage of what's available to you. Do not let that slip through your hands.
Yes, and if you were on last week, we hope that you found you a good partner. Okay, we hope that you started to reevaluate your circle. We hope that you really took into consideration what we were saying about how it's easier and how it's just why it's all around better to build wealth as a team opposed to doing it solo. So we really hope that one, you know, just served as a wake-up call to so many people, because we have so many toxic people and so much dead weight that we're just carrying around. We definitely have to reevaluate our circle and really get this thing moving. All right, so I see the thumbs and the hearts. You know, I see the thumbs and the hearts coming across the screen. We greatly appreciate it. Again, keep letting us know where you are tuning in from. We also want you to share this video. Share and invite, okay? Invite with some people that you want to build wealth with. How about that? Okay, some people that you want to get money with, you want to get your finances in order with, okay, because again, keep in mind, it is better to do it as a team. Another thing, go ahead and share this video on your page, because you never know who could benefit from the information that we are sharing. As you may or may not know, if you haven't been tuned into us, we are all about financial and economic empowerment. Okay, we want the best for all of our people, and we want to help, you know, everyone, as many people as we can, to build an empire, to leave an inheritance for your children and your children's children. All right, so that is what this show is just centered around. So again, invite, make sure you share, and let us know where you are tuning in from. If you are a first timer, say first timer in the comments. All right, you might just get a shout out on the line. We love to see the fresh eyes on our videos.
I love it. I love it. And I love the recap, because you definitely got to understand, you know, the journey that we're taking you down. We're tapping into your mindset. We're tapping into your knowledge base by giving you some additional knowledge. But on the last show, like she stated, we talked about the power of building wealth with a team. You know, you got to understand that building wealth is a team sport. So yes, everything that we give you, hopefully you're adding it together, adding it to your knowledge base, taking action on certain things. And even though we put a strong emphasis on money, on economic empowerment, because we feel that that one facet, you getting full control of your finances and controlling your scenario, controlling your schedule, all of those things will help fix all of the other things that are going on that we deem as not so good, from education to poverty to crime. All of that can be fixed by economic empowerment. So as you put all of the pieces of the puzzle together that we're giving you, now you become better, and the people around you become better, and we one by one affect the nation and affect the world together. So don't take this lightly. So I love the fact that you incorporated a recap on that, and this is no different. This just adds to what we've already shared with you, but we want to just put a strong emphasis on how you minimizing your taxes is something that's already put in place by the government. So if you take advantage of those things that the government is allowing you to do, or pretty much incentivizing you to do, then you can build wealth. A lot of times people are terrified of the government, or, you know, kind of have a negative association with the government or the tax laws or the IRS. But in all actuality, if you just pay attention, they're really set up for you to win. We're just going to hit on some small things just to kind of intrigue some thought. You know, it's going to be a small list of things just to kind of get you thinking in the right direction. A lot of times people look at what's wrong, but if you pay attention to what's right, that's enough to get you to where you truly want to go. So let's just refocus it and just pay attention to what we're sharing with you. Do your own due diligence, do your own research, but these are some things we found to be true, and hopefully you benefit from what it is that we're sharing. We got a short list today. About how many bullet points is it? We got four. Okay.
We have four hot tips, hot topics, okay, that we are going to touch on. So you guys, earlier I put up a post on my personal page about tax time, of course, and I was basically talking about how it's funny, you know, sometimes it's a little bit hilarious how people say, I wish I would have got a refund, but I make too much money. Yes. Okay, you see, I'm doing it like this because what in the world is make too much money? Okay, and typically these people who say they make too much money, they're making under $100,000 a year. So it's not a matter of you making too much money, you guys. I don't know where that came from, that you pay in if you made too much money. Okay, but on my status, I also pointed out the fact that you're saying you make too much money and you wish, you know, that you were getting a refund this year, yet you have Mr. Trump, okay, who's making a whole lot of money. I know you're not making Donald Trump money, but you have him paying less in taxes than his secretary. Okay, you remember when that information came out, and I mean there was a huge uproar. People were thinking that he was doing something illegal, when the fact of the matter is he just knew ways to legally minimize his taxes. Okay, so that's one of the things that I really wanted to brush on, because you don't know what you don't know. Okay, But at the end of the day, as we stated, we all have access to the World Wide Web. So you can take notes, follow along as you can with what we're going to teach you. And then feel free to go back and do your own research. But at the end of this video, we want you to apply. That's what it's all about. You have to be taking some action. If we're giving you the game, you have to get in the game, okay? So that is what it's all about. So you ready to go ahead and get it started?
Yeah, let's go ahead and give it to them. You got to understand, see, nothing happens until you take action. And we just want to paint a picture so you can understand, look, the wealthy people don't overpay in areas that they don't have to, so you got to pay attention and practice wealth principles, wealth habits, if you want to be on that side financially. If you can't beat them, join them. So understand what it is that they do so you can move how they move and benefit how they benefit, and we can get some success stories happening all from this conversation. That's really what this is. This is a conversation, and hopefully it leads you or inspires you to do better financially, and success comes from it. So yeah, let's go ahead and give them the list so they can start taking notes. And if you're ready for number one, it's a list of 4, but if you're ready for number one reason or one way for you to keep more of your hard-earned dollar, one incentive that the government has put into place so you can benefit financially or have some level of success by taking your hard-earned money or keeping your hard-earned money legally, type 1s in the comments. Put a 1 in the comment if you're ready for the first one, and we'll get this show on the road as we always do.
And also, you guys, feel free to put any questions in the comments. Any questions that you may have, feel free to drop those. My phone is acting a little bit funny, but when you drop those questions in the comments, if we see those questions, we don't mind answering as long as it's on topic, okay? So the very first way, you guys, because I know you're putting those 1s in the comments, very first way that you can legally minimize your taxes is by boosting your retirement savings. Okay, by boosting your retirement. Now, we talked about this, and we talk about this almost every show. You should be preparing for your future. Period, point blank. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been working. I don't care if you feel like you can do it later. A portion of your money should be going towards your future. Period. Okay? Period. So by boosting your retirement savings, one of the things that you need to understand is that this will allow you to minimize your taxes. So you want to go in on that?
Yeah, this is what you got to understand. Look, certain things are incentivized and encourages you to do it just based off how the law is written. So you're incentivized to fund your own retirement. Mm-hmm. So that must mean that they want you to do it. They must mean that they want you to take full responsibility of your own finances, so they incentivize it. And what I mean is, if you're putting money towards your retirement, they give you tax benefits because of it. For example, a lot of times people, stray away from the 401k, but they got to understand the power in it. Truth be told, a lot of times people don't know where their money is actually going, or they don't really realize how it can grow more rapidly. But it's power in the 401k because you're putting some money towards the future. And the 401k is just one example. There are many retirement accounts. You got the IRAs, and different retirement accounts function differently. So choose your whatever it is that you feel best fits your scenario. But as it relates to the 401k, if you're funding that 401k, it's one of those allowances that allows you to have a tax deductible amount of money that's going towards your future. So what that looks like is this: if you put in $5,000 for the year into your 401k, well, you just lowered your taxable income by that $5,000. So on paper, if you made $30,000, now it looks like you made $25,000. And sometimes that's enough to drop you into a lower tax bracket. You being placed into a lower tax bracket allows you to be taxed less on less money, which means who gets to keep more of that money? You do. So if they incentivize you to get tax deductions by contributing to your own retirement, it must have some benefits to it. So you got to pay attention to the details. Sometimes those incentives are things that you should be doing and doing more of it, because it leads you to your success. It leads you to wealth. So you putting money towards your future, now you look up and you have a nest egg because you started early. But I just want you to understand that that's an incentive for you to pour into your own retirement. See, they didn't have to incentivize that. That could have been something that you just did on your own with no incentive to it. You could have just put into your 401k and that was it. It was just like putting money in a bank or putting money into a savings account. See, there are no incentives for you putting money into a saving account. There are no incentive for you putting money into a checking account, but you can incentivize, or you're incentivized by the money that you put into your retirement, and the 401k allows you to make that exact dollar amount tax deductible. So it functions different. Like some people prefer the Roth IRA, and the advisor, that I like to always quote what he says about the Roth IRA is some tax incentives in that as well. So you're putting money that was already taxed. It was pre-tax money. So it's money that you received that was taxed via your job or however you received that money. So when you put it into the Roth IRA, you're not taxed on the earnings that money, or you're taxed only on the earnings. You're not taxed on the money that you put into it because it was already taxed. So what that means is when you draw that money out futuristically, you don't have to pay taxes on the money that you contributed because it was already pre-taxed. And this is the question he asked. Would you prefer to pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? Would you prefer to pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? And what that basically means is if you pay taxes on the seed, it's a good chance that money or the tax on that is going to be a lot less than the harvest, because the harvest is going to include, trees. It's going to include abundance. It's going to include a lot. So you'll be better off paying taxes on the seed than when that money grows to what it can potentially become by the time you retire. So those are just two different variations of you putting money into your future and you being incentivized to do so, because now you're in a position to where you're putting money away, building a legacy, building wealth, and they give you perks just because you focused on you instead of just throwing that money away or just putting it in a bank or a savings or checking account. So pay attention to that.
Yeah, and I mean that was a lot of value. A whole lot of value for you to give them, up front like that. Right. And it's crazy because when you think about it, we're talking and we're always talking about preparing for your future and having money set aside for your future. But the reality is so many of us are unable to plan for our future. We aren't even able to put money into our retirement because we're living paycheck to paycheck, because we're already struggling, because we're barely making ends meet. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? That's the saying that everybody likes to use. So I'm going to get these out of order for that very reason, you guys. One of the ways that you can also minimize your taxes is by giving yourself a pay raise. Now, some people are probably like, wait, what? How can I give myself a pay raise? Okay. This is what you have to understand. So many of us, like I said in the beginning of the video, are overpaying in taxes, meaning we have way too much money coming out of our paychecks. A lot of that is because we are fearful of one little bitty sheet of paper called the W-4. Okay, so many people are so fearful, and we know that you're fearful because a lot of y'all inbox us and say, well, if I put a 1, am I going to have to owe at the end of the year? A couple of things that you need to understand. Owing at the end of the year is not necessarily a bad thing. True. If you have the minimal amount of taxes coming out all year long. Okay, so let me say that again. Owing at the end of the year is not necessarily a bad thing if you have the minimal amount of taxes coming out all year long. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to really, really think about this because, again, it's tax season, right? Let's say you were making, let's say $1,500 every 2 weeks, okay? Of that $1,500, you're losing about $400 in taxes, okay? $800 a month in taxes. Now, I want you to just think about this. That $800 times 12, yeah, I'm not going to do that in my head, but $800 times 12. And then let's say you got a refund back at the end of the year of $1,500. Who got played? Okay? Think about what I'm saying. You're making $3,000 a month, yet $800 of that is being taken in taxes month after month after month, and your refund at the end of the year is only $1,500. Who got played? You or the government? You did. Okay? And think about it. If you were being taxed properly, if you had the minimal amount of taxes being taken out all year long, then guess what? That's money that you could have been putting into your retirement. That's money that you could have been putting into your savings. That's money that you could be building your kids' future with, okay? So instead of saying, oh, well, I'm struggling, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, you guys, a lot of the times we have to reevaluate where our money is going. And one of the very first things that we recommend a person to look at, how much are you being taxed? Now, we're not saying just go and adjust that W-4 and put numbers on there, because, again, you have to back that up. So we're not telling you to falsify anything, but if you have a 0 on your W-4, that's a problem. You're not even claiming yourself as a person, okay? So you're saying that you're non-existent, okay? So I just want you to think about, some things are just common sense. Even if you know, single with no kids, technically a person can claim 2 on their W-4 if their situation aligns with what the form tells you. So you guys, we cannot be afraid of that form. We call it giving yourself a pay raise for the simple fact that you're going to see a difference in pay every single time you get paid. So that's why we call it a pay raise. I know you got something to add.
Yeah, you said a lot. And this is the thing. The story that she told is near and dear to me, because I was that person. Yep. I was that person exactly. Like she said, a person may have paid $800 a month for 12 months, so they paid $9,600 for a year, so almost $10,000 in a year. But on a refund, they may get $1,500. That's just an example. Now, don't get me wrong. We understand paying taxes. You pay your portion. You pay your fair share. But if they took almost $10,000 throughout the year and you get $1,500, then that's a large gap. A lot of times people celebrate off of that $1,500.
Yeah.
But they took almost $10,000. But had you given yourself the pay raise and doing it the proper way, now you kept a nice chunk of that 9,000. So let's just say, for example, like she said, a lot of times people are terrified of owing in taxes or having to pay back some money is not a bad thing. It really means that you got the bulk of your money and now you're determining how much you're going to pay them. So let's just say, for example, you got the bulk of that $9,600 throughout the year, and let's just say your tax bill or what you owe was $500 or even $1,000, but you got $9,000 plus throughout the year. That's $8,000 that you were able to keep and do some great things with. We're not saying blow that money. We're saying take that additional cash flow that you just created for yourself and invest it into your future. So now you kept part of your money and now you invested it into the 401k or the Roth IRA into your future. So now you're able to build wealth off of the tax savings that you had. So if you had to pay $1,000, but you had $8,000 in surplus in money that you were able to keep, that's a whole lot more than the $1,500 refund you would have got. So I want you to get that. $8,000 or $9,000, you kept majority of the $9,600, paid in $1,000 because it said, hey, you know, you owe $1,000 back in taxes. $8,000 is a lot more than the $1,500 that you would have got in the form of a tax refund. A lot of people miss that. So I want you to catch that, because that was me. And because I had a 0 on my form and I paid $10,000 in every year for like 10 years, I overpaid literally over $100,000 in taxes just off of that alone. A lot of people have heard that story, but you just got to understand, had I known better, that $100,000 that I was losing could have made me a millionaire by today or by many years ago, had I known what to do with it. So a lot of times people don't look at giving less of their money away to build wealth. So we have the ability to give ourselves a pay raise. That's an incentive. What if you worked a job and you didn't have the ability to let them know, hey, look, this is the amount of money that I want you to take out? What if there were no, you didn't have that ability? What if it was set in stone, they had to take a certain amount without you having the ability to touch that form? That wouldn't, people wouldn't like that too much, but a lot of times people don't take advantage of what's available due to a lack of knowledge. So here we are to enlighten you and let you understand, when done properly, that form can be used to build wealth. The W-4 form, I like to call it the wealth form, because if you use that, we know people who have used that form to get out of debt, pay off mortgages, pay off cars, pay off student loans. Use that same money to build assets and invest and become a millionaire off of that one strategy. And being disciplined and using the principles that we've been teaching and sharing with you since the beginning of the time. And if you're new, then hopefully you stay tuned so you can make sure you understand the power and the simple principles and strategies that we teach, so you can take the knowledge that we have, apply it, and then you create your own success stories from the things that we teach. So I love how you shared that scenario, because a lot of people don't understand the power of giving themselves a pay raise, using their money properly, and building wealth.
And here's the thing, when you think about it, when people get that refund, what are they doing? What are they doing with the refund?
It's already spent.
I'm catching up on bills. I'm going to pay off my credit card, when you could have been doing that all year long. Guess what? That credit card has incurred month after month after month of interest.
Absolutely.
Now, when you could have been paying that down every single month instead of waiting for that lump sum at the end of the year. Okay, so I really, really, really want y'all to think about this, and I want y'all to grasp what we're saying about the W-4 and making sure you have the your W-4 filled out correctly, and you have the proper amount of taxes withheld every paycheck. Okay, so it's so important for you to do. Now, on the flip side of that, I'm going to get into number 3. So if you are ready for number 3, go ahead and drop a 3 in the comments. Now, I didn't do that for 2, but let me tell you, number 1 was boosting your retirement savings, so putting more of your money into your retirement savings. And then number 2 was giving yourself a raise, a pay raise. Okay? Giving yourself a pay raise. And we can go on and on and on about that, you guys, because so many people just have a misunderstanding of what's going on in their finances. You know, while you're waiting on that lump sum at the end of the year, all year long you've been late on bills. All year long you've been, barely keeping a roof over your head. You've been stressing, you've been struggling all year long. And you never even thought of, let me check my withholdings. Let me see if too much money is being withheld every single check.
I love it.
Okay, so it's big, it's major, it's a big deal.
And even if you're not struggling, you know, because a lot of times that's not people's scenario. They may not be struggling, you know, they may be doing well. But if you don't have that form filled out correctly, guess what? You're losing a lot of money that can be going towards your wealth. Somebody who's doing good wouldn't mind doing better. So if you can keep more of the money that you're losing, even if you're not struggling, even if bills aren't an issue, but you're losing $1,000 a month, $800, $500, whatever that amount is per month, guess what? That money can be going towards building something that can continue to pay you for life and outlive you ultimately. But if you knew that, then I'm sure you wouldn't make the mistake of giving away too much money. So hopefully that resonates and sets in with someone, because a lot of times people who make a nice amount of money are really losing the most money. I know somebody, he makes 6 figures, and you know, when he made the correction on his form, it brought him in over $1,000 extra per month. So that $1,000 extra per month, $12,000 for the year. Imagine how much debt he was able to eliminate in a short amount of time. 5 figures in debt eliminated, emergency fund intact, investments beginning to grow, all from using that one piece of information, applying it, and being disciplined to grow it. So understand the power in it. It's not just for the people who, you know, may be barely getting by, but it helps those people who may need an extra $50, extra $100, $200, and apply it properly so they can free up their cash flow. But a person who makes a ton of money, you want to make sure your finances continue to make progression, and it all can start there, and it ties in together. You'll see how this all goes together.
Man, it's nothing like having a ton of money and still feeling like you're broke. You know what I'm saying? Right, somebody making $30,000 a year saying, "Oh, I'm struggling, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul," and somebody making $150,000 a year saying the exact same thing.
That happens.
That's a problem.
That happens.
Okay, both people have problems, and it could be the same exact problem, like you just said. So I love the fact that you brought that up. All right, number three. I'm going to tie this in this way. We're going to do business ownership. Okay. Business ownership is number 3. One of the ways that you could be minimizing your taxes. Now, this one is heavy. Okay, because as a business owner, you can qualify for so many deductions. So see, here's the thing. The W-4 and business ownership can go hand in hand. For the most part, they do go hand in hand, because here's the thing. If you're adjusting that W-4 and you're just reading the form and you have that form filled out according to what the IRS has on that form, you can still wind up owing at the end of the year. Okay, that's just the reality of it, which is why we don't tell people just go run and adjust that form, because you need a strategy behind it.
Absolutely.
So that's where the business ownership actually kicks in. Why is business ownership so important? Somebody on here is kicking and screaming, but I don't want to be a business owner. I just want to work my job. Okay, well, working your job is not going to get it. Period. Okay, period, point blank. It's not going to cut it if you're serious about your future and your children's future. Research that, okay? But business ownership, you can qualify for so many deductions that allows you to legally lower your taxable income. I'll let you take that one away.
Where do I begin? See, business ownership, it's like the government is literally telling you, open a business. Open a business, because of all the incentives that are embedded into business ownership. So you got to first understand what fuels the economy. No jobs are created unless someone takes the initiative to have an idea, bring it to life, which is pretty much entrepreneurship, business ownership. So if business owners are who create the jobs, then of course they want more of those people creating jobs, because it helps feed the economy and keeps the economy flourishing. So they incentivize business owners more than somebody who works a job, because it's like they feel like the business owner is contributing to society. Not that the employee isn't, but the person who created the job and went through the hurdles and did all of the things that were necessary in order to make that business solidified, they should get some type of benefit. So how they benefit is through tax deductions. So it's a ton of tax deductions that go along with being a business owner. And we won't get into the different, types of business ownership, from sole proprietorship, LLC, partnership. That's not what this is about. We just want you to understand the power of business ownership and the perks that come along with it. There are books out that let you know that there are over 400 tax deductions for people who are home-based business owners. Even if you operate the business from the comfort of your home, it doesn't necessarily have to be brick and mortar. There are over 400 tax deductions, and one book is called 475 tax deductions, and that number continues to grow. They're finding other loopholes and ways to minimize your taxes more and more and more and more. So there are hundreds of tax deductions for those who are business owners. Now, that number may overwhelm you, like, wow, 400 tax deductions. Truth be told, all you need is a strong 8, a strong 10, a strong 12 of those deductions that apply to you, because not all of the tax deductions will apply to you, but the fact that that is an option just opens up a gateway of you to be able to keep more of your money. There's always a way for you to be able to minimize your taxes legally, which keeps more money into your household, and that's an incentive that the government is providing for those who are into business ownership. I can't remember who I was listening to, but when they said it, a light bulb went off and it made sense. They said, look, really, the tax laws were put in place for you to get rich. You see, if the tax laws didn't exist and you were just locked into a certain amount of taxes you had to pay, then that's 30% of your income that you can't attest to. You did all the work and somebody else got paid just off of the sweat, and your efforts and your work ethic. But the fact that the tax laws are in place, now it's saying, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, you keep that. So if you do certain things, you keep the money that you earned. Is your money. So you need to find out and do anything within your power to make sure that that money stays within your household, within your family, and the generations to come. So when he said that the tax laws were put in place for you to get rich, I kind of just leaned back in my seat at the time and said, you know what? That's right. That's why the wealthy are focusing so much on the tax law. That's why when you hear any political debate, a lot of the topic of discussion is tax laws, because they understand the power in keeping your money and growing your money and doing certain things with it. So I'm gonna stop there because I know you got some stuff to add. I can keep going on and on, but you gotta understand that. Quinn,
I mean, this one is a heavy one because of all of the perks, you guys. I understand that some of you are comfortable. I understand that you might love your job, but sometimes you just have to open your eyes to how the world is currently, flowing. Jobs are being lost left and right.
Yes.
I mean, people are being laid off. People are being fired. People are being replaced with robots.
Yes.
People are being, replaced with machines.
Yes.
So you have to understand that it's so important that we keep our, I like to say, little hood in me. I'm just playing. No hood in me. But I like to say, keep your ear to the streets, because sometimes you literally just have to watch and listen to what's going on. How many people have gone into a grocery store and went from there being 15 to 20 cashiers to now all of a sudden we got self-checkout where you can get yourself in and out. Okay. How many of you all have seen now that people are delivering groceries to the car? You can stay in your warm car. Okay, it's cold here in Arkansas today. You can stay in your car, call them or text them, and they are bringing your groceries out to the car. It's just a matter of time before those are little robots bringing your groceries to the car, putting them in the trunk for you. I mean, we can go on and on. The self-checkouts are crazy. I saw some overseas, a lot of the times they start things overseas before they bring it to the States. And there are literally restaurants running themselves. Restaurants fully machine operated. So you have to understand that just as you can be replaced with a machine, you can be that person presenting a new idea, keeping up with the trends, and actually, creating your own job, creating your own business in order for you to not only qualify for the perks, but to keep a roof over your head. Now, some of y'all won't believe us. You think, you're talking about business ownership. Just because you are business owners don't mean that we have to be business owners. All I ask you to do is research it, okay? I keep saying it, research it, right? Because at the end of the day, you can read books, you can listen to audios, you can go to seminars, you can literally just look online ways to get ahead. And I kid you not, every single one of those things will list business ownership as one of the ways to get ahead, as one of the ways for you to legally minimize your taxes. So as you stated, the wealthy, they're always looking for ways to legally minimize their taxes. Let's go back to Trump. Okay. Think about it. Paying less in taxes than his secretary. Okay. His secretary ain't making Trump money. Okay. Let's just keep it real. And this man has businesses on top of businesses, hotels and all types of things that he has going on all over the country, yet his taxes are at the legal minimum. Nothing illegal, you guys, or he wouldn't be the president. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So you have to do your due diligence. You have to do your research on the back end to see, okay, there may be some validity to what it is that they're saying. There may be some validity to what it is that he's doing in order for him to be a successful business owner and not paying as much in taxes as you are. Okay. And here's another thing that I wanted to point out. 2018, I keep saying 2018 is the year of financial freedom, yes. But I love the fact that I do see so many business owners popping up. I don't care if it starts out as a side hustle, right, in your home, or side hustle, a lemonade stand on the corner. It's something. Yes. And it's all about who you plug into, because there's somebody watching this video saying, well, I don't see a whole lot of business owners popping up. Well, you may want to change your audience. You may want to change, the things that you're looking at online, because we are seeing non-stop business owners popping up. And then we had a long conversation about this yesterday, how easy it is for online businesses to thrive because everything's moving to online. You can order your food online. You can have delivery sent directly to your house without talking to a person over the phone. So I really want y'all to think about this. Online businesses are booming. I'm talking about t-shirts and the digital world and just all types of things are booming, and that's a really good feeling. But you have to, on the back end, as a business owner, you have to get educated on the tax portion of it. Then you're really going to be winning. Okay, it's one thing for you to be a business owner, but when you dive into that IRS website and you look at all of those publications and you look at all of the things that you can write off on your taxes, pertaining to your business, oh, you're winning. You really are. And again, just do your research. You got anything else you want to add to that? I know we can go off on this one.
We can go on and on. This could have been the whole video if we wanted it to be. But this is what you got to understand. Like, she tied it all together. We love the fact that we see a lot of people who are jumping into business ownership. Entrepreneurship is popular now. You know, entrepreneurship is one of those things that, you know, it's kind of trending. A lot of people are picking up and attaching themselves to entrepreneurs who are serious, and serial entrepreneurs is what they like to call them. So we love that. And if you're not seeing that, then you just tuned into the wrong channel. So it's just like TV. If you're watching TV and you're watching sports for whatever reason, you know, if you're watching a sports channel, then it's highly unlikely that you're going to see, you know, some HGTV or some recipes, because you're not tuned into that channel. So change the channel that you're watching so you can see the thriving and the progress that's being made all across the nation. Now, even though entrepreneurship and business ownership is trending and a lot of people are tapping into it, I like how you said make sure you also understand the back end of the tax laws, because the reason why you get into business is not necessarily just to sell the product or service. You know, don't get me wrong, that's great. You want to sell the product or service or have something that you're passionate about, maybe something that you're good at and you just love doing it, and if you could, you would do it for free because you love it that much. But the tax laws is really what you must understand, and where it's at, and why business ownership is so important. It's mandatory, especially with you living in a capitalistic society. That's what America is built on. It's a business. It's a corporation within itself that are pretty much allowing other business owners to thrive. Anybody who comes from overseas, they come here because of the capitalistic society that has been set up that allows business owners to thrive, which includes you understanding the tax laws, which includes showing you how the more money you make, the more money you can keep if you understand the tax laws. And as the tax laws change, they will continue to benefit the people who make more money, or the wealthy, or the business owners. So that's who the tax laws will benefit: business owners as well as people who make a ton of money. The more money you make, there are more tax laws that are there to benefit you. So understand that, how it all goes together.
Yes.
We can go on and on about this, but do not sleep on the tax laws. Don't just stop at having a side hustle, because a lot of times if you have a side hustle, or you're just doing business and you're making money under the table, you know, so many people like to make money under the table, but you forgot what else was under the table, which was documents and tax laws and different things that you can use, that even if your business isn't profitable, it can still appear to be profitable because you minimize your taxes in a way that allows you to keep more of your hard-earned money, or even lower your tax liability from your full-time job. So don't think that under the table money is where it's at. It's some rules that allow you to position yourself to win even if your business isn't profitable. But you don't know that until you dive deep into the tax laws and get with the network of people to make it all happen. I know I might have sparked another idea.
Yes, you most definitely did. But what I want y'all to do is put a number 4 in the comments if you're ready for the 4th way that you can minimize your taxes, okay? But let me just say this also, to break this all the way down, because we understand sometimes when we talk about taxes and tax deductions and a W-4 and we're throwing all these letters and numbers out at you, it can be a little bit confusing. So let's break it all the way down. What we're saying is things that you are already spending money on, okay? You can basically earn credit, let's say credit for that during tax time. So it's like that's deducted from the total amount of money that you made, and then whatever the sum total is, that's what you're taxed on, opposed to what you made, okay? So things that you're already spending money on anyway. For example, putting gas in your car, tracking your mileage going from your home to, let's say, a client, or let's say you're going to a business meeting. You're compensated for every single mile that you drive. So what I'm saying is, having a business and qualifying for tax deductions is equivalent to having a kid. You get some of the same perks. Now, not the things that you can write off, but I mean monetarily. Monetarily, yeah. It's equivalent to having a kid. So for a person single with no children, especially, right? Because we run into these people all the time. Oh, I wish I had kids that I can claim on your taxes.
Right.
That is not the only way to get ahead, you guys. And we have to stop illegally claiming other people's kids on taxes. Yeah, I said it. Okay. We have to stop doing that. You can be a business owner, okay, self-employed, and qualify for tax deductions. And it's like having a kid, because you get those monetary perks. You get that compensation during tax time. And that could be the very thing that qualifies you for that tax refund that you want so bad.
Absolutely. It lowers that tax liability. Just
Yes.
like a child lowers your tax liability, meaning that you pay less in taxes on the overall income that you made. The business does the same thing. So don't be terrified of the tax law. I was talking to someone yesterday, and truth be told, I think they may have so much fear in conjunction to the tax laws and the IRS and having to owe that they may not even want to tap into business ownership. They're just going to go back to the regular way of working the job and paying the highest amount of taxes. And if they get a refund, cool. If they don't, cool. They just don't want to owe. Some people just like, I just don't want to owe. Well, if you paid in $10,000 too much every single year, and you're getting a refund of $1,000 or $1,500, you owe. They just took it throughout the year. So if you don't want to tap into business ownership so much that you're willing to give away $10,000 a year, sometimes more, depending on the job that you have or the career that you're pursuing, if you don't care that much about that $10,000 per year, that you don't want to tap into business ownership, entrepreneurship at all, then I don't know what to tell you, because that $10,000 a year turns into $100,000, which could be multi-millions, and all because you didn't want to tap into it, you lost it. So I wish it was a way that I could say, hey, if you don't want the $10,000, let me show you how to grow that into a fortune, show you how to grow that into an empire. So don't run away from business ownership just because you're terrified of the tax laws or IRS or the government or whatever it is that hinders you or stops you from pursuing it. Just tap into it and learn as you go. There are plenty of business owners that are having success and being able to keep more of their hard-earned dollar legally, passing audits because they may come. A lot of people get audited. The president, plenty of millionaires. Oprah gets audited. She has an audit room,
right?
Designated for audits. It's not a bad thing. They just want to see, okay, you paid these employees, your money went here, your money went here. Cool. This is what you owe or don't owe. So don't be terrified of that. Just understand it. Understand what goes along with it. Record keeping is really the scorekeeper on how much you can minimize your taxes, how much of your money you can keep for yourself, and then the cycle continues so you continue to build wealth.
Now, there was one question. I see Miss Valerie Tatum. She said, what about car or truck expenses, annual repairs, gas, oil changes, etc.?
Absolutely. Great question. As it relates to the auto expenses, that is something that you can write off if you're a business owner and you're using your vehicle to operate your business. Your vehicle is now your business vehicle, even if you use it for personal. So you'll just pretty much split up. Okay, this portion of my vehicle was used for personal, but hey, I use this amount for business. And this is what you got to understand. You can do one or the other. You can either have the auto expenses and record that and use that as your tax deduction, or you can track the mileage. So for a person who drives quite a few miles or drives a lot, they benefit more from the mileage than they would for the auto expenses, because they may not get their oil changed but so often. They may only put fuel in it, but so often. But you get the option to choose one or the other. So if you see that mileage is more beneficial to you, then use the mileage. If you see that auto expenses is more beneficial to you, then use that. So you do have the option, but you can only use one or the other. But keep those things in mind. Car washes, details, oil changes, the percentages that are in conjunction with how much you operated your business using that vehicle can be used. And get with your tax professional. The tax professional will be able to let you know, look, this is what you could use. You'll be more beneficial by using the mileage. Let's track the mileage and how the mileage works. As of now, unless things decide to change, all you have to have is a 90-day record log of your miles, and then they'll estimate based on that 90-day log what your whole year consisted of. So it's a lot of perks in that as well. So consider both, but you definitely can write off auto expenses or mileage.
Yes, but keep your records for the entire year.
Yes.
And another thing, everything in detail can be found on IRS.gov.
Absolutely.
All right. So number 4, you guys, and then we are going to wrap this thing up.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I know. Investing. Okay. Investing your money, you guys, one of the biggest tax breaks that you can get. You have to understand, as an investor, you are paying some of the lowest in taxes, okay? Because you decided to be proactive about your future, because you decided, you know what? I want to play around with the stock market. I want to look into some, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever the case may be. Because you're putting money into investments, guess what? It saves you a lot of money in taxes. Take it away.
See, it all has synergy. Everything that we said ties together, from giving yourself a pay raise to investing into your future in the retirement funds to business ownership, minimizing your taxes, creating more cash flow so you can do what with it? Invest. So that's where we at with it. Investing is separate from just funding your retirement fund. However, it does still fund your future if you're putting your money in places where it can grow. You see, things go up. In life, prices go up. Inflation is in effect at all times. So you want to put your money into vehicles that allow your money to inflate. Inflation is good when you have your money in place and it's growing at the rate of inflation or better.
Exactly.
Inflation is only a problem if you're just spending money on things that cost more, so now your money doesn't stretch as far. So now you got to understand the power of investing. You see, the reason why you want to be investing from a tax perspective is because investments pay less in taxes. People who are wealthy, people who are rich, people who got money, they want to make majority of their money from investing. You think about the Warren Buffetts. I'm gonna just use him as an example. Ooh. He's made his fortune off of investing, and he wants that to be where his money comes from. He doesn't want to work for a dime. I mean, of course, he doesn't have to work a day in his life if he doesn't have to. But the reason being is labor is taxed a lot more than investing. If you're working for the money, exchanging your time for dollars, which is not the best way to earn income, then you're taxed at the highest rate. However, if you took the money that you earn from however you earned it, whether it be from a job, whether it be from, a business, if you took the money and put it to work, even though you earned $1,000 at your job working and you earned $1,000 from an investment that you made, you get to keep more of the money that came from the investment, because making money is taxed less than labor making money. Tax less than 15% when you do the math on how it all works. So you want to put yourself in a position to where you're taking your money, putting it in something that allows inflation to push it up via investing. So now you're keeping more of your money, and then eventually it'll get to a point to where you're investing so much consistently that you're living off your investments and you don't have to work anymore. So now your money is being made from the money that you invested, and you can reinvest some of the money, or you can use it to spend on your current lifestyle, whatever you want to do with it. But you want the roles to change. You don't want to always labor for your money. You don't want to always just build a business. You want to also have that business funding your investment, have your job funding your investment, and then one day the tables turn and now those investments fund everything, and now you're living wealth. That's generational wealth right there.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. So you took my idea. No, I'm just playing. No, but it's so different when the roles change, right? When you're just putting money into your investments and, watching that money grow. But when those investments turn around and start paying you, listen, that's a whole different ball game when you really get an understanding of capital gains and dividends and how those things work, and you get a true understanding, not like a Facebook fake understanding, but you get a true understanding of making money in your sleep. Oh, that's where it's at. Okay. That's where it's at, where you're getting paid out as often as you want, and think about just having money flowing in off of investments that you made into your future, into your kids' future on the front end. Okay, so you always need to be at some point. Now, there's some things you need in place before you start investing, of course, but once you start investing, I'm telling you, that is where it's at. Okay, so really think about everything that we're saying, you guys. We gave you 4 tips this time, so I hope that you received a ton of value. Of course, we want you to act on it. you can go ahead and look into these things that we gave you today. And we're still at the beginning of the year, you guys. Minimize those taxes legally, ethically, and morally. So of course we want you to get back with us. If you're following us, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you've seen this genuinely from us and our page, then get back with us and we can give you a game plan. We can give you your roadmap where you can most definitely get started with a game plan on minimizing your taxes, on starting a business, on properly filling out your W-4. We also have a ton of business partners on the line. You gotta love them. They're all in the comments. And if they invited you, then get back with them. Okay. Now we do a really good job at referring you back to the person who invited you to the video, so you don't have to keep saying that in the comments. But for sure, get back with the person who invited you to the video. Let them know that you're ready. You want to start minimizing your taxes. You want to, look into this business ownership thing and see what's up with that for ways that you can get those tax deductions at the end of the year. You want to be educated on investing your money, okay, where your money is working for you. And then ultimately, we all want to live that life where our investments are paying us, okay, because that's where it's at.
I love it. I love it. I love it. See, that's how you get your roadmap. Connect with us, other people who connected you to us. And it all starts with a roadmap. See, a lot of people are heading nowhere fast, which means they have no direction. They say they want to be a millionaire, and you ask them, what are they doing to get closer to their goal? And they have not a clue. They say they want to be debt free, and you ask what they're doing to get towards their goal, and they're kind of just winging it. But if they are going to a specific location, nobody I know in their right mind would just start driving in any direction expecting to arrive at a place that they want to, arrive at. You put something in place called the GPS. You put something in place, whether it's a map, if you still use a map. Either way, you need to know what direction you're heading. North, south, east, west. Where are you heading financially? So that's what we want to do. Just give you a roadmap, and that's what leads you to the destination of where you want to be. So in conclusion, we definitely had 4 things. Go ahead and read out those 4 things, and then we'll wrap it up and let them have the rest of their day to themselves.
Number 1, boost your retirement savings. Number 2 was give yourself a pay raise. Number 3, business ownership.
Absolute.
And number 4 was investing. Okay, 4 things that can help you to legally minimize your taxes. All right, wrap it up.
And understand how they all go hand in hand. Nothing we gave you doesn't tie into the other. We like stuff to be synergistic. So it's a lot of synergy in there. And if you understand it, then you can be a force to be reckoned with. Because look, you got to understand, we live in a world where we are conditioned for failure and oftentimes programmed or fooled into mediocrity. So people find themselves living like peasants instead of the royalty that they were meant to be. But you see, here we are royalty. We see the king in you. We see that queen in you from start to finish. It's time for you to take the seat on the throne, because this is where we uplift your character, your confidence, and your cash flow. You see, as royalty, you should establish a solid financial foundation that will soon lead to your abundance and thriving empire. Take your seat on the throne. We are royalty. Salute.